All right, Coach, good road win for you. Thought the start was very key, especially the way Brandon Ingram was able to get out and get a shot early on.
Yeah, I thought we started the game the right way offensively, but we talked about this team, having the ability with, Sexton and, all of those guys out there really, Kevin Love and, when Nance came in the game, that they had the ability to score points. And, we ended up exchanging baskets. If you score 74 points the first half, you should have more. You should have at least a double-digit lead. So I thought they hung in, and they're a good young team. There's a lot of potential on this team. I mean, obviously, I think they got a great coach, and it's just going to take a little time. But if you look at the talent that Kevin Porter Jr. has, and some of the other guys, Sexton and those guys, it's a process, And so, but I thought they played hard. They competed hard. Even when we got the big lead, they got it to single digits again. So we've got to do a better job ourselves of being in that situation and being able to close out games. We should have been in a situation where our bench players should have been able to finish that game, and we didn't have to play guys, the extra 4 or 5 minutes that we did. So. But all in all, any road win that you can get is going to be a good road win. And I thought when we needed to, we sat down and we guarded and we did what we wanted to.
Well, speaking of guard, we saw what Drew Holiday was all about tonight. He was absolutely not locked down defender at times.
He was, and we went in and had him guard Porter, and I thought he did a great job on him, just breaking his rhythm a little bit and coming up with a couple of steals. But, I thought Drew was terrific tonight, and I thought Brandon started the game exactly as we needed for him to start. He hadn't had many opportunities in the last couple of games, but I thought with the speed that we played with and the ball movement we had, we created some things for him.
And it wasn't just the guards. You were able to put Drew on Kevin Love for a good little bit in that first half. Just how valuable is he to be able to just stick basically anybody out there?
Well, I mean, you guys been around enough to know that that's exactly who he is. I mean, he can guard anybody. It doesn't matter. And, and we don't look at it as a mismatch, and we weren't going to go down and double team, as you could see, when they threw the ball into Kevin Love. We just told him to guard him, and I think they threw it in 3 times, and Drew came up with 3 stops. So, that's who he is. The thing that I think with our team is that we just got to keep striving for, consistency. We've got to be able to start a game and finish a game the same way we started when we start with a good situation like we did tonight. Defensively, we got to be able to lock in and not get to that point where we're just exchanging baskets, but we've got to try to lock in and come up with stops. We're a much better basketball team when we're running off misses than we are when we're running off makes.
Coach, what did you think of Cleveland's defense on Zion tonight? It seems like they did a solid job of staying attached to him.
They did, but he's an unselfish player. I mean, he's not going to go and force shots or anything like that, That being said, he did have 14 points and 9 rebounds, so anybody else, you would say that that's a pretty doggone good game. So, and he's early, we hadn't had a ton of practices. This is his 3rd NBA game, or 4th, whatever, I don't know. But, he's just like anybody else, it's a learning process, and we'll figure it out. We got to figure out spacing and things like that, and he's got to figure out, exactly where he wants the ball and how we can get it there. So, it's a pretty good game when you're in the process of learning and you can have 14 points and 9 rebounds.
In the fourth quarter, he had that offensive rebound and scored, and then had that other basket. How big were those to see?
Oh, they were big baskets, and he's got great hands. When he's get his hands on the ball, there's a good chance that he's going to come up with it. And everybody got excited over the block shot, but last time I checked, there hadn't been a guy in the NBA that played any games at all that hadn't had his shot blocked.
You'll play road games in places that are a lot tougher to play than this building this year. But I'm wondering, when you have a guy like Zion with as much hype that's surrounding him, if it's harder to play at home when guys are screaming for you when you're on the bench, or in a place like Cleveland where, for the most part, I felt like they kind of left him alone.
We'll take home. I think anybody in the NBA would rather play at home. Okay, it's very difficult to win games on the road in the NBA, and the very very good teams, they can, but there's a situation where most of the other teams, if you can win half your games on the road, you probably had a really really good year.
30 minutes for Zion. Is it getting to the point where we aren't going to have to ask you that question anymore about burst?
You don't have to ask me now. I mean, he played 30 minutes. I mean, there's not too many guys that's going to play much more than 30 minutes anyway. So, we can put that one to bed, okay?
And Melly was able to hit some shots again tonight. Do you feel like he's really starting to find himself with this team in Southern?
Well, we try to play him. We think it's a good combination with he and Zion out there because he has the ability to space the floor. But he made 2 really, really big shots for us. When we were kind of teetering on the brink of letting them really, really back in the game. So he gave us an opportunity to stretch the league out again. What other one? I hear you whispering. What do you want? Go ahead, Andrew. I mean, I know you've been on the ESPN and everything now, so I mean, just tell me, what is it that you're?
All good now.
Okay.
I got
All
my
right.
answer.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to know, I thought you.
You got Stephen A. whispering in his
Yeah,
ear.
I was gonna say. I was looking to see.
I promise you that.
I was
Just taking whatever the defense give me, not forcing anything, and trying to be effective for the game as much as possible. And I think it was better tonight.
You guys had, I think you had 40 points in the first quarter. It just seemed like right from off the beginning, you guys got off to a good start. What do you think was behind just the way that you guys got in rhythm right off the bat?
Just free flowing. The ball moved pretty well, got it to the open guys, and we just felt good about the shots that we were taking. I think where we had to get better was going down and trade the baskets, and we just had to lock down on the defensive end and just be better on that end.
Is there any adjustment in particular you feel like you've had to make once everybody is out there and you kind of moving back to the wing and Zion's taking more of those 4 minutes? Is there anything in particular you're doing more now than you were before?
Just seeing how I can break my man down a little bit more. I think I'm being guarded a little bit different. Maybe it's one person, maybe it's two, maybe it's three. And I think the wing is a little bit different where you have a little tighter space on the wing. And it's different from trailing the play. So just trying to pick my spots where I can be aggressive and where I can get off the ball and be effective another way.
With that being said, do you like those minutes you do get at the 4 when you kind of attack a little bit more when they kind of mix in some different lineup and some different looks?
Well, I like both of them. It's been a while since I've been at the 3, but I think both of them are coming along very well, just trying to figure out what we want to do and trying to figure out the lineups that we're going to have in the game. So I'll figure that part out.
Do you see Zion getting better every day, every practice?
Absolutely. Athleticism is the big part of his game, but him getting into the passing lane, I think, as he continues to get the feel for the game and get healthier and healthier, I think he'll sprout from my eyes.
How important do you think Nico was in the second half, and do you feel like he's really getting into a groove?
Well, it seems like he's always in the groove. Every time he catches the basketball, I think we feel like it's going up and it's going in, and we tell him to shoot the basketball every time he gets it, and we feel very confident in everything that he's doing.
What's it like not only seeing Drew take on the challenge of guarding a bigger guy but like Kevin Love, but locking down the way he did in that first half?
Something we've seen over and over again. I know he has it in him, and he just has such a good feel for the game of basketball that it's really good to see.
Brandon, it seems like they really took away Zion.
I'm ready.
This was your first road game in the NBA. What was it like?
It was great. We got the win. Even though it was an away game, the crowd's energy was great, and I'm glad we got to walk away with the win.
You were talking this morning about how you can hear some of the things that people say to you, especially during warm-ups. Did you hear anything tonight?
During warm-ups, yeah, I hear it all just because it's funny. But during the game, usually it just naturally gets blocked out. I think it's just funny how when I'm warming up, I'm sorry, people are saying, Zion, come over here. I can't right now.
So, I mean, you mentioned this morning, obviously you're 19, and you know the hype around you, and there's reason for that. There's hope for you for a very bright NBA future. Do you ever think about that and think about what you can become and what kind of player you could live up to? I mean, they compare the hype around you as a 19-year-old to LeBron, for instance.
When I'm probably just chilling in my room or something, yeah, I'll think about it and, what the future holds for me. But when I get to the practice or I get to the games, I just take it moment by moment and day by day. I think that's the best thing I can do, because if I look too far in the future, I might get distracted in the moment and that could affect the future.
I know it's early in your career, but what do you think so far has been the biggest difference between college and the NBA?
I think it's just the veterans and obviously experience and just being around other players who've just been through so much. Drew's an all-star. He's been through a lot. Derek Favors has been through a lot. Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, Lonzo, they've all been through so much, and I'm just 4 games in, so it's a lot to take in, but I think I'm surrounded by great teammates.
That 5th game is going to be against Memphis and John Morant. What are you looking forward to about going against him?
I don't really look at one-on-one battles. My mindset is to go in there and, like I say every time, whatever my team need me to do, I'm going to go out there and try to do it so we can get the win.
So your NBA tenure now, as far as being on the court, it's a week old. Is there a thing that you can say, I've learned this or I've discovered this being on the court for a week in the NBA?
I think it's definitely adjusting to on the fly while the game is happening. Sometimes scouting reports can be, misleading sometimes, and, some players could do more than scouting report says. So I think it's just adjusting on the fly, communicating with your teammates.
What's the learning curve been like on the defensive end? It feels like at times teams are maybe testing you a little bit and seeing, how much you're ready on that end. So what's it been like to kind of adjust to that?
It hasn't really been tough adjusting to it. When I was rehabbing, we expected that to happen. So I think it was, like I said, it's just a matter of communicating with my teammates from which side the screen's coming or somebody setting a screen on me and just, walling up and holding my ground.
Zion, were you surprised Sexton got your shot when you were going in there?
Nah, he's an athlete. He got me that time, and I'm still adjusting to, having my legs in game. So, he got the best of me on that one. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. He got the best of me on that one, and hopefully next time I can get a different result.
Griff used to work here.
Oh, yeah. Hear about it all the time.
Did you wanted to make sure he got out of here with a win?
That's like an afterthought, but, in the moment, I'm just thinking about my teammates and my coach and just trying to get the win.
Has he ever talked to you about working with LeBron and, anything that can apply that he learned from those days to what you can do?
I think he does take experiences from that because they did win it all. So, I think he took experience from that, and, he'll tell me about him and, what championship teams need. And I think for my growth, that's going to be great the more and more I'm in the league.
When Drew's locking up the way he did on the defensive end tonight, what's it like just kind of watching him go to work?
It's amazing. I think if he wants to steal, he's going to get it. And, it just gives the rest of his teammates energy to lock up ourselves.
What did you
think of their defense against you tonight?
Just another NBA defense, man-to-man. I think they started off with Thompson on me, but, for me, it's just to go out there and take what they gave me. They weren't really giving me much, so I would just create for my teammates, and it worked in our favor.
What did you think of what Nico did, especially his dunks?
It was funny. I'm not going to lie. I almost laughed when I was out there. It was one of those, is he about to pass it? And then he dunked it. And I was like, man, he was wide open. but he did good out there. You know, he has a high IQ for the game, so you know, plays like that are normal for him.
Alvin said we can probably talk about your minutes limit to rest. Is that the way you're looking at it now?
Yeah, in my opinion, that is how I'm looking at it. But honestly, it's not up to me. It's up to the trainers and the coaches and where they think I'm comfortable with.
Thank you, Zion.
Thank you.